Timothy Liljegren traded. We're going to talk about it. I just finished a good workout for a couple hours, but I thought this would be fitting. I literally just got this a few weeks ago, guys. Add the Sharks jersey to the collection. Let's go. So the Leafs and Sharks make the trade. Timothy Liljegren going to the San Jose Sharks. So, hey, we're doing a one-taker. Let's throw this in the background. But I think a lot of Leaf fans, honestly, are going to feel kind of torn on this, to be honest. Putting that up there. Oh, look at that. Beauty. At the end of the day, I think Liljegren, you know what? When you have such high hopes for a guy like right shot defenseman, first round pick, like at one point he was a top 2 projected pick in his draft year in 2017, and then he ends up dropping out of the top 15. Leafs snag him up, and I mean, even for myself, Leafs perspective, I had visions of this guy playing next to Morgan Rielly for years to come. Liljegren, mid-20s, right shot defenseman, great skater. He has all the abilities to be great. He just didn't fit long-term on this team, especially with Brad Treliving's vision. And I think at the end of the day, when you talk about Timothy Liljegren, I think you knew he was going to get traded at some point. But then you sign him to a 2-year deal, $3 million per year, and then they're like, okay, Liljegren's part of the plan. I got to give major credit to Brad Treliving, because whatever was happening behind the scenes, credit, because clearly he signed that contract knowing, okay, if the guy works out, great. If the coach doesn't want him, doesn't fit in our roster, we can trade him. And that's exactly what happened. So Timothy Liljegren to the San Jose Sharks, and Matt Benning, 2025 third round pick, 2026 sixth round pick. I think it's good value. I mean, how I looked at it, third round pick was the value. You get Matt Benning, who's a bit of an edge. I mean, he's a bottom pair guy at most. You're not going to get more out of him than that. It's great that the Leafs get between Edmonton and Colorado's third round picks. The Leafs will get earlier of them. I mean, you're expecting both of them to be late in the third round, almost a fourth round pick, but we'll see how those two teams do. I don't mind the trade. I think, like I said, there's going to be some Leaf fans that are happy about it. There's some Leaf fans that are just disappointed the potential never reached its point. So I'm torn. I do want to talk about a few other things here, whether it's the Jake McCabe extension. I think the fact that was under $5 million was great. The term, a little risky for some fans. I get it. I think it's a little risky. And then other moves to come. I mean, right now we're talking about Pontus Holmberg on that third line with Domi and McMahon. And at the end of the day, Nick Robertson's not even in the lineup. So I'm just doing a one-taker to talk about it, guys. I think the first step here is to look at what can be for the playoffs, and that's Jani Hakanpää coming back into the lineup. I'm saying coming back. He hasn't made his debut yet with the Leafs, so coming back into the NHL, he's had the knee injuries. I think when you look at the Leafs going into the potential playoff picture, what do you want as your top 6? Do you want your shutdown pair to be McCabe-Tanev, which we've seen at times, or do you want the absolute complement to Morgan Rielly and Chris Tanev? I think either or is a good answer, but you have to complement both guys, I think, in the best way you can. And then there's Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So at times, last game, for example, where the Leafs basically getting a scoring shootout with the Winnipeg Jets, which really shouldn't be the case with Anthony Solar start to the season, with Connor Hellebuyck start to the season. 6-4 hockey game. Well, yeah, I mean, you had Oliver Ekman-Larsson playing good minutes with Morgan Rielly. You had McCabe playing good minutes with Chris Tanev. Benoit Timmins has been Craig Berube's go-to bottom pair, but then Jani Hakanpää coming into the picture, that's a great top 7. And honestly, if you put Hakanpää in that bottom pair with Benoit, that's physical. And then Matt Benning in the picture now, that's your 8th defenseman. Philip Myers drops down to the 9th defenseman. Well, you have 9 capable NHL defensemen at least that can step into the lineup as a next man up mentality. So in terms of next moves to the Leafs, I think realistically it might be Nick Robertson still. I think you might go after, with the new flexibility, I think the Leafs might be able to move like a Calle Jarnkrok or a David Kampf, who frankly I would have rather seen go than Timothy Liljegren. I still think there's potential there. And if you're watching Sharks fans, you should be really happy about this. These are the exact kind of moves the Sharks should make. Timothy Liljegren, like I said, hasn't proven himself to be, I think, as good as he can be, but he's got consistent experience in the top 4 at times with a playoff team in the Toronto Maple Leafs. Have your criticisms of the Toronto Maple Leafs any way you want. Liljegren has played top 4 minutes. He's a right shot defenseman. I know it's the unicorn of the NHL. We wanted to hype up Justin Hall because he's a right shot defenseman. Liljegren has the skating abilities, has all the skill sets to be great, has the shot. the decision-making has been an issue. So Sharks fans, if you're looking at something that Liljegren needs to improve on, is the decision-making at high speed in the National Hockey League. I think this is a win-win trade, though. I think the Sharks get exactly the kind of player that you want in terms of this new age, new direction, and the Leafs get much-needed cap flexibility to take Yanni Hakanpää off of LTIR and take Connor Dewar off of long-term injured reserve as well. So I think those two guys will get a shot to play NHL minutes. I think at this point, the depth needs to be better for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So if Nick Robertson's traded, I think it's in a bigger deal. Maybe you use one or two of these picks to make a real addition in that bottom six. Like, I'm looking around the league. There's a lot of guys penning UFAs, whether you want to look at like a Yanni Gordon Seattle, if Seattle was willing to retain. If you want to look at a Lars Eller, he's had a great start to the year. Pittsburgh struggling. I'm going to make a Pittsburgh Penguins video coming up and what they might have to do if they keep following like this in the standings. So to cap off this video, guys, I think a Robertson trade could still come, but we were expecting the Liljegren. And go back on my videos, guys. I've been saying Liljegren to one of the California teams, and I've been saying that Liljegren and Robertson would be targets for the San Jose Sharks. And then now flipping Liljegren to the Sharks, I could see the LA Kings looking at a guy like Nick Robertson. So keep an eye on that, guys. I also could see the fact that the Leafs, like I said, have 9 capable NHL defensemen. Maybe they do move another defenseman. You never know. I also think this is kind of funny. Like, I'm not hating on Liljegren, but Matt Benning, the fact that this is a pretty good clip. I know Benning at times has had a bit of an edge to his game, so that's something some Leaf fans will be happy about. And then I didn't really talk about the contract situation with Benning. He's on a one-way contract. He's under $1.25 million per year. The Leafs were actually trying to get him, and Elliot Friedman had talked about last year maybe Matt Benning going to the Toronto Maple Leafs, whether it was through free agency or through a trade. So he'll have this year and next year 1.25, a lot more affordable, obviously, than the $3 million per year for Liljegren. Of course, Liljegren's ceiling's way higher than Matt Benning, but I think when you look at the financial situation for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Matt Benning, probably the 7th or 8th defenseman on the Toronto Maple Leafs. If Yanni Hakanpää is healthy, he's probably the 8th. So the Leafs have a lot of right-shot defensemen all of a sudden. They have Chris Tanev. They have Matt Benning. They have Yanni Hakanpää. They have Philip Myers. Again, you're probably looking at Chris Tanev as the only pure top 4 defenseman there, but Hakanpää can play there if need be. So I think that there's the value there. And I didn't even mention Connor Timmins. So Connor Timmins as well on the bottom pair. So like I said, the only true top 4 consistently guy there is Chris Tanev, but Timmins can play there if need be. Hakanpää can play there if need be. So that's the good part about it. So just wanted to talk about that because the cap value that is there. And then, of course, for playoff hockey, look at Matt Benning. Just feeding him on Martinook. There you go. Leaf fans love it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Like I said, I think this is a win-win for both sides. I do think it's a great fresh start for Timothy Liljegren. I wish him all the best. At the end of the day, I wanted to see him succeed with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It didn't work out, so it is what it is. Thank you so much for watching. I got the Sharks jersey now in the collection. Need a Utah jersey, but it'll come. As I said, subscribe, like, comment, notification bell, all that good stuff. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.